Good day, ladies, friends, gentlemen, great and noble patriots, and ignominious and noted members of the conspiratorium. I say to you a hearty hello and a hi-yo silver and a welcome. Welcome to you as we discuss what may have been, what may in fact be today, tragedy averted. If you could believe this tragedy, some form of second thought, I don't know what, some reconsideration, whatever the particular words are and thoughts, we might have a blessed and glorious reconsideration where President Trump, for reasons I do not understand, I do not grasp, I am not questioning, but maybe, just maybe, he might say to himself, this is not worth the effort. This is not worth the risk of life. This is not worth worldwide calamity. I do not understand any of this, my friends. I don't understand how any of this happens. I don't grasp this. I don't understand how Americans who have had an absolute, I thought, a disgust, an allergy towards senseless war would in any wise, in any way, in any form, countenance, rubber stamp, or agree to this insanity. I have seen coverage of this event like I've never thought possible. I have seen coverage so bizarre. I have seen just this morning, early this morning, as I happened to look and watch at CNN for a particular reasons, of which I don't normally watch or pay attention to, but there was this incredible coverage as to, and I'm not suggesting it's not worthwhile or it's unimportant, but there was this incredible coverage as to hospitals, Israeli hospitals that were affected and peppered and blasted by rocket attacks. And I think this is of course relevant. Of course it's critical. But yet, for reasons I shan't understand, it's the reciprocal is not mentioned. And I wonder, why is that? How does this happen? What is the reason? What is the possible reason how somebody could miss the fact, this very simple fact, that there are people, for whatever reasons, people who are not, or who have not been included whatsoever in any of this consideration. So what I say to you, my friends, is get ready. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how everything that we know and knew to be correct and real has changed drastically. Let us pay attention, dear friends, and notice that what we are seeing right now is a great reset, a great change, a shifting. And I can't be any more serious or any more focused than this, especially when it comes to a reconfiguration, a realignment, to use the AI terms, kind of a singularity, so to speak, of everything now as it applies to, and this is critical, a new world order. My friends, this is Friday. This is our chance to speak. Pay close attention. Make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are a part of this family. Get ready to weigh in. Get ready to think. Get ready to opine. But before we begin, first, my friends, this critical and important word from our sponsor. Gold has remained a cornerstone of global wealth and financial security for centuries. And in times of economic uncertainty and inflation, gold is seen as a safe haven. With all-time high gold prices and renewed interest in precious metals, the demand for new high-grade gold discoveries is surging, and that's where I want to talk to you about a company called Opawica Explorations Incorporated. They trade on the U.S. market using the ticker symbol OPWEF, and they could well be positioned to capitalize on this trend, offering investors exposure to potential upside in the heart of Quebec's prolific mining country. They have their flagship gold exploration projects in Quebec's world-renowned Abitibi Gold Belt, and are purely focused on achieving their next major goal making the next significant gold discovery in one of the world's richest mining regions. Quebec is consistently ranked as one of the world's top mining jurisdictions, renowned for its strategic locations for trade with the U.S., stable regulations, infrastructure, and rich mineral endowment. The Abitibi Gold Belt alone has produced over 190 million ounces of gold from 120 mines. Opawica's properties are strategically located near these giants, with one of the largest producing gold mines right next door to their Arrowhead property. They are literally surrounded by billion-dollar properties. Opawica's flagship Bazooka and Arrowhead properties are at the center of the action. The Bazooka property, adjacent to Yamana Gold's Wasamac project, has shown impressive gold grades in the past, and with the company launching an ambitious 20,000-meter drill program across its key project, the timing couldn't be better for investors looking to capitalize on the gold rush. One of the world's premier gold investors, Eric Sprott, is a major shareholder in Opawica Explorations. Sprott made a personal $1 million investment in the company's oversubscribed $5.28 million private placement, demonstrating strong confidence in Opawica's exploration potential and management team. His involvement places Opawica among a select group of junior explorers with direct backing from one of the most respected figures in the global gold investment community. Opawica's properties benefit from excellent infrastructure, including hydropower, road access, and proximity to mining services, allowing for cost-effective and sustainable exploration. This operational efficiency means more capital can be focused on drilling and resource expansion, enhancing shareholder value. With gold prices at record highs and the growing importance of domestic mineral production in North America, Opawica is uniquely positioned for growth. The company's ambitious exploration plans, prime location, and a world-class gold district, and impressive historic results make it a compelling opportunity for investors seeking exposure to the next wave of gold discoveries. Opawica Explorations is currently trading around 11 cents per share, and with a comparable project in the area selling for $4.8 billion in 2023, the company could represent a significant opportunity for investors. With major drill programs underway, strong backing from Eric Sprott, and leadership from CEO Blake Morgan, a third-generation miner and the company's largest shareholder, Opawica offers substantial potential upside as it advances its exploration efforts. Thanks to Opawica Explorations for sponsoring today's video. You can get their latest presentation here on their website at opawica.com. This video is conducted on behalf of Opawica Explorations and was funded by Capitalize on It. I have been compensated for this video. I only express my opinion based on my experience. Your experience may be different. These videos are for educational and inspirational purposes only. Investing of any kind involves risk. While it is possible to minimize risk, your investments are solely your responsibility. It is imperative that you conduct your own research. There's no guarantee of gains or losses on investments. Please do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not a financial advice channel. All information is provided strictly for educational purposes. It does not take into account anybody's specific circumstances or situation. If you are making investment or other financial management decisions and require advice, please consult a suitably qualified licensed professional. The securities of Opawica Explorations are speculative, and the company has not yet achieved consistent positive cash flow from operations. As a growth stage company, it anticipates negative cash flow for the foreseeable future as it focuses on development and commercialization efforts. Parties viewing this video should thoroughly review the company's public disclosure and documents available at sedarplus.ca. And I hope you are seeing what I am seeing on this beautiful and glorious Friday as the weather begins to become hard. Well, we'll talk about the weather on a separate note. Yesterday, I saw things that were just... We saw weather yesterday that was so strange, so bizarre, so out of control. I never saw anything like it in my life. But what we're seeing right now is something that I don't understand, because you cannot watch cable news and you cannot watch what's going on and you cannot listen to see what they are saying. But let me bring you up to speed as a fair, as a generous, as a cogent and lucid and sober observer as to what is happening. Let me see if I can bring this to your peace. Number one, and this is critical. I don't know where the president is right now. I have nothing but the greatest faith and love and support for that which I believe is MAGA. I say that which I believe is MAGA. I believe that what is the initial, the critical, the important, the necessary aspects of Make America Great Again, I believe, more than anything else, I believe that has never left, never departed, never been changed, diluted, redirected, anything along those lines. I truly do. I think deep down inside, the president is a good man. I think he is absolutely possessed with the most incredible of common sense. And I believe that he is a committed to, I think, a steadfast notion in peace and wanting to leave a legacy. I think more than anything else, Trump wants to be a leader. I think I really do. The rhetoric at this point is so bizarre and so gone. I don't even know if I think it's time to back off. Everybody has weighed in. When Theo Vaughn, okay? People are so desperate, so incredible. People, and I find myself doing it sometimes, but Theo Vaughn, the young comedian, the once drug-addled, the voice of a new generation, the kind of a quasi southern hipster with his inverted hat, Theo Vaughn, who a while ago was a comedian of sorts, joking about getting laid and doing whatever it was that he does, now finds himself in the position of geopolitical commentator. Theo Vaughn. Okay? Theo Vaughn. You have these new, this reconfiguration of, and by the way, remember, when you say Theo Vaughn, that's not just a vote from the streaming community. That's a vote for and from millions and millions of people who will be and could very well be MAGA supporters and the like. I don't know, but we'll see this one. Joe Rogan has made it clear. We're seeing one of the most insufferable, and I want you to think about this, Douglas Murray. Douglas Murray he's a hack. You will see the end of Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson. These folks who came along, and the guy who has been one of the most expert in not taking really any side unless it's obvious, is Glenn Beck. But you're going to see a stratospheric rise in the worth and the equity of Candace Owens and everybody else. I mean, you're going to see something the likes of which we have not seen before. It's going to be incredible. I mean this. This is going to change. And at the top of the list, at the very top, is Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is at the apex, the zenith. What he has done is he has shown the world now, this is how we think. For the longest time, people have not really paid attention to this. And why these people are important and why they're critical is that they have shifted to you a new way of looking. Let me tell you what happened. This morning on WABC, overnights, I invite you always, I implore, beseech, importune, and ask that you be a part of this. I happen to be in a studio that allows me to watch. There's a TV channel or station or whatever it is. It's like, okay, And as I'm watching this, as I'm paying attention to what's going on, as I'm watching this event, I'm looking at for the first time things which I never get to see, and that is, of course, cable news coverage. For the first time, I'm looking at cable news coverage. I'm getting to see this. I don't watch this. I never watch cable news coverage. I never watch cable news coverage. I don't watch this. Do you hear what I'm saying? I don't watch cable news coverage. I don't watch it. Do you hear what I'm saying? I don't watch Fox. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch any of these ever. But for some reason, the only time I get to see this, so I'm forced to watch this, and I'm looking. CNN and MSDNC, but CNN is now for the first time arguing and reporting, showing hospitals under attack. Israeli hospitals under attack by Iranian missiles. I can't say Iranian, I'm sorry. Whatever. Now that's not at all wrong. That's good. When you look and say, where is the coverage of Iranian or Gazan or Palestinian attack? Nothing. Let me say that again to you. CNN is purportedly the worldview of the left. They've got this woman that everybody thinks is such a rock star. She's a phony baloney. And she's going from bomb site to bomb site, trying to show you how she's in. The real efforts, the real counterbalance are people on platforms and the like who represent another way of thinking. And not one of these folks, not one of them seems to be interested at all in doing anything, even remotely close to showing the truth. Now, let me ask you a question. Can you tell me how you can discuss something that is happening without discussing both sides? Our good friend, and he is a dear friend of the show, one of the charter members of the Conspiratorium, Make the Dream Great Again, says, bet they won't go into Iran for coverage. Oh, absolutely not. You are seeing something which is the most incredible. I am seeing behavior that is just. Have you seen our friend? How do I say this? Our friend, and I hate to say it, but Roseanne. Have you seen what Roseanne is saying? It's as though there's this idea. You are either for Israel, for it, to the exclusion of everyone else, and you must hate everyone else, hate them, their cause, or you're for Hamas. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Listen to what I'm saying. You are going to miss this. You're going to miss this. You're going to miss what I'm saying to you. When Trump came along and he redefined politics, a lot of the left didn't get it. They didn't understand. They said, it doesn't matter. And I've got people who still don't understand it. Trump redefined politics. He went out and he grabbed people who usually and historically were never aligned one way or another with what you would consider to be what I would call right wing or whatever it is. He changed that. He made it cool. And I told people, I said, you don't understand what's happening here. You don't understand what's happening. And people still didn't. They said, no, you don't get it. I said, no. Trump is a rock star. Trump is good. Trump is a hit. People like Trump. Okay. There are those, for reasons I don't know, though there are those who have come along and they have suggested, they have tried to convey to you that Americans are either one side or the other. Listen to what I'm saying. Americans are good people. War has to make sense. There are some wars we're not really sure about. There's some folks like Houthis and whatever. We are not able to really understand and to grasp. We can't. We don't know. This is different. And all of a sudden, people have been told, by virtue of this perfervid ferocity, that you must absolutely clamor, scream, yell, demand, shake your fists and shake your swords in support of Israel destroying Palestinians, Hamas, and now Iran. And we haven't, because remember, Hezbollah and Lebanon, that's not in there yet. Houthis aren't really full-blown. And Americans are going to start to say, wait a minute, this isn't ending the way we thought it would end. Now, for reasons I do not understand, for reasons that absolutely, did you follow this one? The president is suggesting, the president is, we are being told that the president has reconsidered any bombing movements and protocols and the like, because he has realized, or it has come to him, the folly of this, after having reviewed, or after having remembered, or I don't know what the words are, but after he's remembered Afghanistan, Libya. Are you following this? Does this make any sense to you? Did you follow this? And Iran is saying, basically, sorry, we're not done. Trump now says, well, we want a 2-week ultimatum. Wait a minute. No. And people are saying, well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And Iran says, no, we're not done with this. We don't basically need to hear this. We'll tell you when we're going to do it. And now people are saying, wait a minute, what? Trump and others are saying, excuse me, Iran, you're telling us. And Iran is saying, yeah, we're telling you. We're not kidding. And Americans are thinking, but you don't understand something. You are nothing but this backwater, 5th century, old, decrepit, kind of a non-player in this thing. This is what people are thinking. And they're saying, no, you don't understand this. So Trump's nuclear tide turner, there's this 2-week ultimatum in Iran saying no. So in this escalation, President Trump issued this stark, all of a sudden, 2-week deadline to Iran. And they said, you're attacking us now? Yes. And if you know what's good for you, you'll stop. You will listen. And they warned Iran that unless it de-escalates the eruption of hostilities. Okay, this is now I'm reading this to you from the viewpoint of, let's say, Fox News or the Republican Party or whatever, however you want to say this. But the way this is being done is they're saying unless you de-escalate from this explosion of hostilities with Israel, the U.S. is going to take military action. But, as has been said, with a mere flicker of diplomatic hope still intact. Iran and others are saying, it's too late. It's too late. Iran has been hit. Let me see if I can explain this to you. And let me tell you this much. And I want to be very clear on this. I have no dog in this fight. None. I'm going to say something to you. I have no interest, or America has no interest. This is not our fight. Israel, Iran, Hezbollah, it's not our thing. We have problems here, big problems here. But I have been saying for the longest time, why are we doing this? Why are we going after? They're not some ragtag little group of folks who have nothing better to do than to do this. And I'm seeing stuff, and I'm hearing this insanity. And I say this again, maybe you saw this. I don't know if did you see our friend who kind of was pretty rational, at least at one particular point. Do you see what Roseanne is saying? Screaming and yelling about, I mean, does she know what she sounds like? Does anybody really truly understand? It's as though people have been handed, if I didn't know better, a blank check that basically says, come out and just say anything you want. Anything regarding or against Palestinians or Iranians and pro-Israel, no matter what, no matter how. Now, I could do a better job. Explaining to people the pro-Israel point of view. I could do this. There is, believe it or not, there are some points to be made. But instead they send out Ted Cruz. And Ted Cruz said, look, just write me the check and then I'll do it because I'm Ted Cruz. I'm Ted Cruz, and whatever I say will work because I'm Ted Cruz. I'm it. And I'm sorry to say this because I love her a lot. I think Roseanne thinks whatever I say, people will just flock to me because I'm Roseanne. Are you seeing this? Do you hear what's going on here? This is President Trump, God bless him, said the other day to Tucker Carlson, who, by the by, I don't know if he could ever win an election because the political fathers, I don't think, would be behind him one way or the other because he's too much of a. Remember, he's too much of a maverick, too much of a. What am I trying to say? He's too much of a hot dog. He's too much of a. I don't know if they like that. I don't know if they. Because you remember, as we've said before, there are no differences between left and right. You know that, right? There are no differences between left and right. None. Left and right, two sides of the same coin. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Two sides of the same coin. There is no. When you see, what is her name? This woman. I'm watching CNN, and they don't even know about Iran. CNN and Fox News. Now look, all I'm saying is this. And you can talk about this all day long. I have seen this my whole life. I have seen this from the days of Vietnam, and I've seen it right now. The rule seems to be, the media are saying that there's only one side to this, and that is either, however you look at it, either pro-Israel, and I think it's becoming less and less that, either pro-Israel or anti-Iran. I thought it was, I was watching today, I was sitting in this newsroom and I'm looking and I'm watching the CNN because I see these monitors and I keep seeing these hospital shots. And I said, show a Gaza. Well, forget about Gaza. I said, no, show a Gaza. Show a picture of Iran's, the embassy in what, Damascus being hit? Show all of its, remember when they went after the helicopters and the targeted assassinations of their leaders? Please listen to me. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm not asking you, we have nothing to say with this. This is not about us. What do they think? I'm not asking you to agree with me. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter. What you say, Fox News says, Sean Hannity, anybody. It doesn't matter. It matters what they think. And what they're thinking is, this is it. We've had it. We've had it. We're just not going to put up with it anymore. That's it. And there are people coming out of the woodwork. And you don't know this. And you know this because you follow what we're doing. Have you seen and noticed what's going on, what's happening in the real world? Do you see what's happening? When I say the real world, I mean in terms of informational platforms and streaming. You were looking at a medium right now, not me per se, but this medium that never existed in real world society. Never had this before. Never. We've never had this before. They don't know who we are. They don't understand who we are. And by the way, who I am means not necessarily a side, but a medium. It's hard for us to remember when the notion of TV came along, the radio people laughed at it. And when radio came along, the newspaper folks laughed. This has been going on forever. And when cable news came along, and cable, they laughed at cable. Who's going to buy cable? Who's going to pay money for a cable? All of our collective lives have been people misunderestimating, as people used to say, this medium. The world is changing drastically. And President Trump, I don't want to see him caught up in this. I don't want to see him caught up in this. But let me go back and just look at this. I'm looking at this latest installment of it. On June 20th, as today, Iran responded swiftly and unapologetically, which people can understand, and openly refused to negotiate while Israeli strikes continue, marking a turning point. Listen to me. That teeters, as people say, perilously towards war, and is rejecting diplomacy. And the Fox News and others have said, remember, you have to look to see what they're saying about it. They call it diplomacy on pause, war on the horizon. Do you understand that they are saying, remember, not what I think, not what you think. They are saying, we have been at war forever. What are you talking about? Where have you been? The Douglas Murrays and these people living in this world. I don't know who's paying them off. I really don't. And by the by, when I saw Ted Cruz refusing to lean into, you see how he was sitting? Tucker was like, come on. When he said, are you being paid for AIPAC or by AIPAC? He should lean in and say, how can somebody who supposedly is a son of Washington be so naive? You damn right. And I'm proud to be associated with them. Tell them. Don't hide from it. Well, I don't know. I say it. AIPAC should have canceled him immediately because he acted like he was caught doing something, caught in the middle of some illegal activity. So during the course of this, your AIPAC must be thinking, you're supposed to be the genius. Tucker was ready for the kill. He didn't just happen to know this. He didn't just happen to have at his command these facts. He was ready for the kill. And then Trump said, I will decide within 2 weeks whether to strike Iran's nuclear facilities, conditioned on Tehran showing genuine commitment to negotiations. Did you hear what they said? The other day, we, the United States, President Trump said, we're going to go in now. You better leave Tehran now. I mean, they freaked out. Did you see? This is the size of New York. They were fleeing. They listened to him. They came out of nowhere. It was a move, an exodus, the likes of which nobody ever saw. And now we're saying, now listen, we mean business. If, what are you talking about? What do you mean if? And there's this thing which is happening, which Americans don't understand. There's this solidification of this thing called either anti-Israel or pro-Palestinian or whatever it's called. There used to be, there were the Salafists versus this, and then there was the Sunnis in here, and the Shia here, and the Arabs here, and the Persians here, and there wasn't this cohesive, collective group of people. It didn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't this cohesive group of people who there is now. And they don't understand this. They don't see what's happening. And I hope somebody gets to the president and says, we need to talk about this. What President Trump is saying is that Iran must cease current hostilities. And they're looking at him like, what are you talking about? Do you know what you're doing to us? It doesn't matter what we're doing to you. You just have to take it. They have to distance themselves from militant proxies. Excuse me. These aren't militant proxies. These are our allies. We think you're the... We think you've got to distance yourself from Israel. This is what they're saying. And Fox News says, I don't give a damn what you say. Remember, forgive me for repeating myself. It's not what you think. It's not what I think. It's not what America... It's what they think. Think about a hostage negotiation where we're trying to tell people, let the hostages go. Let's say there's somebody hold up a bank robber. Doesn't matter what's right, who's right or wrong. He's got the chips. He's ready to go. Have you ever listened to Scott Ritter? Have you listened to Mearsheimer, but Scott Ritter and Colonel McGregor, two military. Have you ever heard them speak military? They speak... there's Foreign Minister Abbas Araki declared there is no place for talk of dialogue until Israeli aggression stops. And he accused Washington of complicity in what he labeled Israeli crimes. Iran stands. No talks, no compromise, no de-escalation, period. End of discussion. Now Europe is joining it. As Trump issued the ultimatum, European leaders took a far, as people call, one could say, softer, a more sensible approach. Foreign ministers from the UK, from France, Germany, and the EU convened in Geneva with Iran's Iraqi. They're talking to him, aiming to revive parts of this 2015 nuclear deal. While Iran suspended U.S. negotiations, it didn't shut out Europe, I guess, entirely. So David Lammy and others suggested that there's still a window for diplomacy. And Tehran, Iran, though verbally combative and, dare I say, bellicose in terms of statements, they showed some willingness to discuss nuclear limitations. Remember, we killed, let me see if I can explain this to you. Let me tell you what the world thinks. Remember? We killed, or they killed, we killed, somebody killed, the chief negotiator. Iran's negotiator was murdered. Tell me you understand this. Tell me, what would you do? What would you do? How would you go in and handle this? What would you say? Listen, Iran, that's it. We're going to unleash holy hell on you. You want to do that? Who wants to do that? Anybody? Anybody want to do that? This path that they're trying, this is about, may fracture Washington's position, its leverage, its signal readiness for military action. This is Washington. Trump's administration now faces pressure from allies. Finally, they've been urging restraint the whole time, especially as Iran warns of bombing U.S. bases if attacked and threatens to close or mine the Strait of Hormuz. You don't want to see that. Remember one thing about Americans, and this is the most important thing. We don't know anything about where things are. We don't care about humanitarian this, but affect our gas. Summer's coming. Travel's coming. Oh, my God. Now, behind the scenes, Trump's team is preparing for worst-case scenarios. Steve Witkoff and Pentagon hawks, if they exist, are actively planning something. But some of Trump's inner circle advocates a diplomatic exit ramp, and they fear, for good reason, Iranian retaliation, regional escalation that could drag America into another Mid-East quagmire where we get nothing out of this. Remember, this is not Iran and Iraq. And if you have strikes on Iran's Fordo enrichment site or its deep underground nuclear facilities, if that happens, all bets are off. But Intel warns that these moves may only harden Iranian resolve and rally not only regional militias around Tehran, but world group and allies, their own allies. Iran, whatever it's worth, remains defiant now. Now they've said it, we've done it, that's it. Its refusal to surrender comes with threats, they say, of targeting U.S. bases. Its Revolutionary Guard is saying we will retaliate. Now this is serious business. There's a nuclear uncertainty factor here. Now at the heart of this crisis lies Iran's uranium enrichment program. Remember, you never hear about Israeli nuclear program. Never. The demon of it. Never. Why? Because if they admit they have it, they have to say, well, where is the inspections? They've never been subject to inspection. Look, I'm telling you the truth. This is what the world is saying. You have to know what people are saying. They say now that their weapons are close to weapons grade levels according to the IAEA. Do you believe any of these people? Have you seen the clips? Have you seen the little pieces of Benjamin Netanyahu saying since 2015 or 19, whatever, that Iran are weeks away, days away, hours away from a nuclear bomb? They've been saying this for 10, 15 years or more years. Diplomacy now is urgent. Sanctions and military operations are increasingly seen now as the only alternative if talks fail, I guess. And Tehran, by the way, is kind of framing its nuclear program as peaceful. And it's been saying it conditions its engagement on Europe. And it's telling the U.S., we're not talking to you anymore. And at one point, it says negotiations require mutual respect, not threats. So, now remember what I'm telling you. If you watch Fox News, I'm not saying you will, but if you're watching Fox News, you won't hear this. Bradley Opland says, World War III is here, fought through precision hits and rhetoric. Amid AI noise, the real action is fast, targeted, and deadly. That's the truth. Teresa Skinner says, untucked. I don't know what that means, but that's good. Thank you for that. Do you believe this is World War III? Who believes it's World War III? If I was talking to people, I'm saying, right now things are changing. You are going to see a change, a shift in public opinion. You're going to see people, Tucker Carlson is now the leader. Tucker Carlson is the Tucker has surged ahead. He has. Nobody saw this coming. And they still think, Fox News thinks, Murdoch thinks this, others, that they're the big boys. They think they're the big boys. George Keane, ladies and gentlemen, says, what happened to L.A. since this Persian thing? What happened to L.A.? I'm sorry. What do you mean? What happened to L.A.? I mean, I don't know what that means. What happened to L.A.? I don't know. But thank you. I don't know what you mean by that. Now, when I tell you this, here's what nobody's telling you. Here's what they do. They take a position, and that's it. I take all sides because I'm telling you the way it is. If Adelson or APAC or somebody called me and said, we need your help. How do we do this? I would say you have been framing your position like it's 30 years ago, like it's 20 years. You don't understand what's happening. Think Edward Bernays, think what have you. You're not selling America. First, Americans have been neutral on this. America. When the American voters are affected by this, that's when there's change. You want to get things changed in this country? You get Americans involved with it. You have them become involved. You have gas prices go up. You want to do this? Have gas prices go up. You don't want to mess with Americans. You don't want to mess. They're kind of like the sleeping giant. They're not really paying attention to this. And Democrats, have you noticed this? Democrats are nowhere to be found because they won't move in. Now, this is a switch. This is a chance for Republicans to turn to the Democrats and say, even you're being sold out. George says, LA, meaning the riots and use of National Guard, was the biggest media story. Then the Persia attack wiped it from the headlines. Do you think that was the biggest story? And thank you, George. What do you believe is the biggest story? What do you believe? Remember this. Step back. We're in this room. Democrats are in that room. And I'm looking at this world of voters. What do they care about? What do they care about? Voters control everything. Trump is involved not because he's a good guy, not because MAGA is a great movement. They're there because people are all of a sudden saying, they said, we like Trump over what's her name? Edward Bernays, father of propaganda, yes. But he and others as well, right? How do you sell this? How do you sell this? You're absolutely right. This is what people are missing. I don't believe in right or wrong. My right or wrong means nothing. It means nothing. I'm looking at it from a political point of view. How do I sell this? So step number one, Mr. and Mrs. AIPAC, Israel, whatever. Bibi Netanyahu is your worst enemy. Bibi Netanyahu, it's time. He's the Palestinians' best friend. His time is so expanded. They don't want him there. They're going to indict him. If you had a woman, there is a woman named Zippy Livni, okay? Now, those people who are aware, she's as hardcore as, when I say hardcore, she's Mossad, she is IDF, maybe not Mossad, but I think she might be. But she's a new face and she's a woman and she brings a sense of kind of, sensibility that Avigdor Lieberman and these people are just the hardest core. You have never, put it this way, you don't know what hardcore is compared to these folks. You don't know. Lindsey Graham on his or her best day can't get near this. You don't know what hawks are. You don't know what hawks are. You don't know. You've got to get rid of this. You've got to have a new face. This guy is plunging your country into war darkness, and they will tell you this. They will say, the polls are 100% in favor of this. I think if you were to plumb deeper and look, you would see the regular folks, the rank and file Israeli citizen would say, what are we doing? We're at more of a peril. What's going on here? What's going on? Why are we doing this? You're going to risk annihilation, technically. And by the way, let me just say something. You don't have to drop a nuclear bomb to annihilate a group of people. You don't have to do that. Do me one favor. I've gotten away from it. I say it sometimes just to get people's attention. There will be no World War III. World War III is over. There will be no World War III. I don't know what that means. Troops, and we've got this axis, and no. The world is looking at this and they're saying, what are you talking about? I would love to sit down. I don't think they know anything about the internet. Do me a favor. Where do you go on the internet? Tell me. Where do you go to hear cogent, sustained, I'm serious, cogent, sustained, focused support of attacking Iran or attacking Hamas via, because we're not even talking about Hamas anymore. We're not even, Gaza. We don't even talk about Gaza. We don't even. Where do you hear this? Where? Tell me where you hear it. Where is there? I can go line after line. Javier Bardem the other day. I mean, this sounds crazy. A lot of Hollywood. People that have never. There are folks. This guy, is it Dave White? All of a sudden, he's elevating himself to. This makes the most junk yogurt. Junk yogurt. Anna Kasper, her problem is she's just screaming and yelling. He's making sense. Greta Thunberg is making sense. There's a group that's been around forever. Sam Cedar, making sense. Go down the list. Go down Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn. I ask you, where is the Douglas Murray? Douglas Murray is a hack. He doesn't realize it. I guess he's getting paid and he figures, I'm great. I'm Douglas Murray. These people think it's 1993 or something. Where is this? They don't understand who we are. I'm sitting back and I'm saying, look, what are you paid? What are you? Tell me if you hear what I'm saying. All I ask, just press the number 1. Just tell me you hear me. I don't care if you agree with me. Make sure you hear me. Do you know the disaster that Ted Cruz caused? Did you just tell me you understand this? Do you know the disaster that Ted Cruz caused? Do you understand the disaster? What Ted Cruz did? Do you know this? Do you know this? They take Ted Cruz. Tucker puts it out. He's got 1 million views. Tucker chops the segment. Million. People take that segment, rephrase it. Million. It keeps. Those millions are repackaged, refocused, retweeted, or I keep saying tweeted. And when America starts, remember, if I told you this, and I'm telling you something, and I'm listening to what I'm saying, I know what I'm saying is right. The worst thing in the world you could ever be in this country is not to be wrong, but to be laughed at. Let me say that again. The president and others must understand, you cannot be laughed at. You can be wrong all you want. You can say something that's wrong as long as they don't laugh at you. When you are the subject of trolling, when they are laughing at you, when they are doing memes, tell me you understand this. This is a different world right now. When political cartoons from the days of Thomas Nast and others, political cartoons have been one of the most important and critical pieces of propaganda, or whatever you want to call it, since the beginning of time. It was so critical, so important, so out of this world. It was one of those things which was just, I don't know how to put this into the world. I don't know how to put this into the world, okay? Now, when people get together and they all of a sudden say, we're going to become involved in something, all of a sudden, these folks came forward. And out of nowhere, people are saying, we like this internet thing and we enjoy this. It's very easy. And we are finding ourselves, in particular, we're finding ourselves in the position of commenting. And we kind of like this, okay? So let me see if I can make this very, very simple. Do you know why it is critical this is important? Because people are saying right now that this doesn't make any sense. George Keene says, I'd be embarrassed not to know baseball card minimum. Yes, on Adversary 101. The hubris of Ted Cruz is incredible. This guy wanted to be president in 2016. George, absolutely right. Could not have. In fact, I'm going to use that line. Let me come forward and let me say something which is the most devastating. And you may or may not agree with me. I can't help that. The thing you do not ever want to say, the thing you do not ever want to show or to indicate, is not that and I shouldn't say anti-Israeli, but not that they are not correct, but that they're laughable. I'm telling you right now. So you've got to ask this question. You've got to ask this question. Okay, Iran. Oh, and by the way, Ted Cruz. He learned in Sunday school that God said not to abandon Israel. God wasn't talking in Genesis about Israel, about Bibi Netanyahu and the Likud party. Do you think Haaretz is Israel? This is the I don't want to say liberal, but this is the counterpart towards the Jerusalem Post and those like. Do you think Haaretz is somehow anti-Israel? Do you think they're anti-Israel? Are we talking about Israel? Or are we talking about the governments like the United States versus the Republicans? He said this. And Tucker Carlson, oh, by the way, Tucker's now super Christian. Tucker reads Matthew all the time and he loves him. Okay, fine, whatever. See, whenever somebody brings up religion, I turn off of me. I say, it's phony, full of shit. You're just saying that. I don't want anybody in determining American policy based upon, of all things, the Bible, but I digress. So Tucker came back with this thing. Well, where in the Bible does it say that? Oh, I don't know. He said, well, it's Genesis. But where? AIPAC should have picked up the phone and told Cruz, you're done. You did more to hurt us than ever. At least Lindsey Graham is kind of sort of, he talks more about, strategic. Because believe it or not, this crazy idea that if Iran gets a bomb, see, you have you say one thing only. You don't want them to get a bomb. Zerobo says, what is the best outcome in your opinion? Oh, best outcome? Trump says, never mind. We're out of here. Sorry. We're done. Sorry. Cancel all further military connections. Everything. The Nimitz, this battle carrier groups, we're out of there. Done. Finished. You figure this out. Iran, you want to go after them? You go after them. Go after them. You can't say to somebody that they cannot have a nuclear weapon and then destroy an entire civilization. You can't amputate a leg because of a hangnail. You can't do that. If you say, we understand my hangnail, she's in pain. We've tried everything. And the foot is almost risking infection. And the nail is so embedded. And we've tried everything. And he's on an antibiotic. And this thing is spreading. And there might be some cellulitis. And we have to, fine. Amputation is irreversible. No, but you don't understand. That toenail, that infection, there's sepsis. No, you don't understand. You're talking amputation. You're giving me this versus this. The issue is not, is there something to worry about? That's not the issue. You're talking about, as you would say, World War III. What are you doing? What is happening? Where is the common sense? What in the name of God is happening here? And you've got these Lindsey Grahams, Douglas Murray, listen, the best thing you do is keep him on. There is nothing more arrogant than some Brit who thinks he's smarter than you, telling Americans who he really is not that big of a fan of. Just like Piers Morgan. Oh, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan now has switched because he's a moron. But he's switched. Let me ask you, everyone, come forward, answer my question. Where do you think, tell me, where is the pro-Iranian military or the pro-attack or the pro, whatever you want to call it? Where is this? Where do you go for this? Tell me, where is it? Where is it? I'm not talking about Fox News or Sean Hannity or those guys or Mark Levin or Ben Shapiro. I'm not talking about that. They've always been there. Where is this group? Who is it? Who's doing it? Anybody? Anybody? No. Nowhere. So if I ask, Tulsi, is that supposed to be Tulsi? Tulsi Gabbard is furious. Furious. Absolutely furious. How she was treated? Horrible. Tossed under the bus? No. You're insulting her. You never, ever, ever turn your back. You never tell somebody, it doesn't matter. Trump has this ability sometimes to be so dismissive. We love it sometimes because he's so brusque, so rude, so a lot of things. Like he'll say, I don't know, you're an idiot, or she. But for him to say that Tucker is jealous because he doesn't have a TV show or network, or I don't know what he's talking about. But Tulsi Gabbard, don't do this. And a lot of his folks, let me tell you who I would get rid of in a heartbeat, is this Dan Bongino. He's not a team player. He is that crew. Have you noticed on another thing? Have you noticed how tepid Bobby Kennedy looks in this whole thing? Have you noticed how tepid Bobby Kennedy is? Well, we have red dye and we're not getting the Fruit Loops. What happened to this? What happens? See, there was this idea, somebody's not watching they're just not watching this. So the question was, it's a very simple thing. Get out of it. Do your best. Diplomacy, aid, support will help hospitals. No military. 2,000. They were actually showing, what is her name? You know I'm talking about? This blonde lady. She's on CNN. She's like their war. She'll wear veils. She's talking just to Israel. Okay. Palestinians are saying, you want to talk about hospitals? I'll show you hospitals. Go and look. Did you see Syrian Girl? With Alex Jones? Brilliant. Alex Jones has never been He's never been more relevant, more on fire than this. Where's Elon? What's happening with Elon? What's happening with Palantir? You think they're backing off this stuff? You think they're going to be? Did you hear this speech going around of one of their leaders saying, and we're going to explore and investigate new modalities of warfare where we're going to target human beings, target people based on AI meaning? Listen, the World War III is in the reconfiguration of everything. You're not going to recognize this. They wanted this. They didn't need this. The president didn't need this. America, nobody cares about Iran. Nobody thinks, yeah, they got to. America said, well, you've got a bomb, they all got a bomb. You think you think Iran's going to bomb Israel? They'll wipe out Iran immediately. Well, they're crazy. They got to be crazy. America never, but we've got a bomb. The question is, who doesn't have a bomb? Who doesn't? It never made sense. It never grabbed people's attention. You know what grabbed America's attention? Better to fight them there than here. The smoking gun could be a mushroom cloud, because we were just coming after 9/11 and we were pissed off. We wanted heads. Do you understand this? We were absolutely, we were just, we don't have that resolve here. We don't have that resolve. So this, whatever her name is from AN, oh, what is her name? CNN female war correspondent. I'm trying to get her name. Her name is Clarissa Ward. There we go, Clarissa. No, Clarice. Hello, Clarice. Clarissa Ward. Somebody somewhere has got to say, look at this picture. Look at this hospital. Look at what they've done. This is and say, look at this hospital. Look at this death. This is what's happening. Look at this baby burned to death in their bed. Look at this. Children stacked up like cords of wood. Oh, is this Israel? No. This is Gaza. This is Gaza. Clarissa, what about that? George Keane says, think Kristi Noem was poisoned. Now, let me stop for a second. What evidence do we have? Have you heard that, honey? People suggested Kristi Noem was, you were saying that Kristi Noem was Kristi Noem poisoned? Okay, let me stop. I like this. Who thinks Kristi Noem was poisoned? Come on. Anybody? What do you think about that? Was she poisoned? I'm going to do a video on that because I'm going to put on my detective's hat and show you how we look at that. Because remember, the cavalry is not coming. Save yourselves. I like that spandex. Who thinks Kristi Noem was poisoned? Come on. No. I'm not going to say that. Jon Stewart was a go-go bar bartender, but he did sling drinks. I don't know what that means. Does anybody think this? Put it this way. For you to think that Kristi Noem was poisoned means that you have evidence of something that I don't have, because there's been no evidence of it. She has some mysterious whatever. If I work for the president, poisoned by Gretchen Whitmer, if I work for the president, I would say, make sure we make this mysterious. Why? To open up the conspiracy angle of dark forces affecting us. I'm dead serious. Give people something to think about. It may not be true. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying anything like that. What I'm saying is I would say, this probably would be a really good idea to let people start to think about this. Who knows? Maybe we have spies. Because remember something. What is the one thing the president and Israel need to change public opinion, to encourage and to support and to demand the annihilation of Iran? What do they need? Tell me. Anybody? Tell me. DJT needs a taste tester. Oh, I'm with you on that one. What do you think? What do they need? Somebody writes false narrative. I don't know what. See, when you write false narrative, is it a response to my question or something before? I don't know. This is why it's very, very imprecise. What do they need? Public support. Very good, Stanley. What can you do to have public support? What? Tell me. Public support. How can you say, this isn't about religion? It's not about religion. Do you remember when Kristi Noem had her purse stolen? While security You see, these things just go away. Huh? $3,000? And she carries around money. Huh? She carries money like a gangster. What does it need? What do you need? What do you need? Come on, I can't believe you. What do you need to change public opinion? George says, no idea. Just thought it was interesting angle. HHS Secretary and Trump #1 had colitis. I didn't view it sinister. I feel Christie is about photo op. Oh yeah, Christie is a phony. 100%. She wants to be Barbie, Mrs. But I'll tell you who's going to end up being really good. Alina Habba is going to be she's going to be this October surprise or whatever you want to call it. And watch Judge Jeanine Pirro. Watch Judge Jeanine Pirro really kind of say, like, I remember this. Now, Happy says, another attempt on his life? Well, no. No, believe it or not. I'm going to say something you're not going to believe. If you want to change public opinion, another attempt on Trump's life, I don't think it would have any effect because people are already tired of it. He's been, 3 times? Actual conspiracies? If that event in Butler did not work, where his ear was shot off, where he dropped to the bottom, jumped to the top with his hands, his fist clenched in defiance, if that didn't win, nothing would. No. I'm going to say this, and I don't want it to be true. A false flag in the U.S. attributed to Iran, that's it. It's done. And I'm sorry to say, but if it's big enough and messy enough, America will say, that's it. We're in. Got it. I know how people work. I don't want to know how people work. I'm not advocating this, but I'm telling you. Knowing Bibi, and stop pretending. Can you believe what Dershowitz? Why has Dershowitz lost his mind? He keeps going on TV thinking he's helping. Is there anyone at this point who says, like, hey, Alan, thanks for clearing this up? When they asked him the other day, they said, Piers Morgan asked, see, we love this Mossad thing. We love this Mossad because we love this James Bond, CIA, NSA. We love that stuff. We just can't get enough of it. Okay. The question then becomes, and this is also critical, what do you think? And this is important. What do you think in terms of, they ask, something like, maybe I forget Mossad, and they asked a former Mossad head, and he was on Piers Morgan, and he said, I can't tell you. Now, the first thing I would do is I'd pick up the phone, and I would explain to Israel, who is the genius who was putting old Mossad heads on whose English is, they come across as real creepy and real, that typical, that me. And he says, you don't understand Mossad. That's the, and you think, who is this guy? This is not good. There's a guy named the best spokesman there is. The guy that I would put on, the best Israeli spokesman is Michael Oren, O-R-E-N, the best. American, but has perfect English. Not Bibi perfect, because Bibi's got that, speaks great, but Bibi, his time is gone. Michael Oren, nice guy, clear, lucid. Who are these lunatics that keep going on platforms that Israel puts up? And do they not know how this is coming across? If I ran, I'm telling, not that I would, but if I did their PR, because this is a PR game, Bernays will tell you this. This isn't about right or wrong. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, nobody goes on any TV show unless you run it by me. Nobody. And I'm going to say it again. What is what is Roseanne doing? She's coming across like, what? You're not helping anything by just screaming about Palestinians. See, they figure that they come to a point where their fame is so terrific and so great and so powerful that nobody will question it. They think that they can say whatever they want. They believe that they can say whatever they want, that they are so loved by the world that whatever they say. No. The moment there's any kind, remember this, if there's anything, if God forbid, at Disneyland, if there were significant casualties and somebody said that was Iran, or if immediately they say a branch, a militant faction, a militant brigade, a militant whatever from Iran took credit or blame or whatever, and then Iran said, wait a minute, we didn't do that. Oh, yes, you did. Now you're denying it. If that connection would be made, I would say, see, and Americans would be picking up the phone, theoretically, and saying, do whatever they want to blast Iran. Thankfully, they've not done that. Thankfully. No, some genius keeps saying, put Alan Dershowitz on? Alan Dershowitz? First, sometimes people, he's what, 85, 86 years old, sharp as a whip. Joe Biden is out of his tree, and he's like not even 80, or maybe he just turned 80. You have to get new blood. Let me tell you another one. Have you seen this guy in New York, Zoran Mamdani? This is the scariest thing I have ever seen in my, well, not my life, but Zoran Mamdani is as radical left as you can even imagine. He is as radical. He's running for mayor, and he's going to win. He's going to win because they love him. Love him. I was talking to a reporter. He is, why? Young. People think he's attractive. He smiles. He is as hardcore left. He is, whatever you think, pick the leftiest lefty of them all. Pick. Who would it be? Who? Who would the leftiest person be? Who would that be? Who? AOC? And not Elon Omar. Hers is a different thing. George Keane says, was OKC a dry run for the 12 days of September? Not a dry run, but I can't rule that out. By the way, you heard what Alex has been saying about 9/11. He's bringing up Israel again. I mean, I don't know how that's. I wouldn't push that narrative. I wouldn't push that. That's too tenuous. You got to know what narrative to push. Even if it's true, I wouldn't do this. But let me go back to this. Zoran is a test. He is a Soros type. Say, let's see if we can do this. I want to see our version. I want to take somebody that young people would love. I would love to take somebody that the lefties would love. Some TikTok star, some influencer, somebody. Put her up. Somebody that people think was attractive or hot or whatever words you want. And I would put them up and see what the world would, how they would react. Okay? And I think before you know it, if a person were to come in and basically make some reference, have a platform, the new conservative, don't mention Trump, just say kind of what Trump and others are saying, but rephrase it, have them get in, and then once they're in, unleash this, what they would consider havoc. George says, if Mamdani elected, will the NYC story be don't mess with Zoran versus don't mess with the Zohan? I understand the reference. Thank you. I do not know. That's a what is it? That Zoolander or some, I don't know what. No, that's isn't that Dynamite? In any event, you're throwing me off. But thank you for this. Let me tell you something. Let me go back to what I was saying. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. You watch this case. There is no lefty like this. AOC's kind of comes across as a dumb shit. And everybody knows it. People that, oh, she's cute. No. That didn't work. She never really had it. This guy, he's got it. Funny name. Not a funny name, but he's worked 3 years of his life. 3 years. No job. Put it this way. He makes Obama. Reminds me of Obama, this guy that comes out of nowhere. Who's he? It's like they pulled him out. They recruited him. We have a chess game going on with multiple chess games, simultaneously. And America, and it's got to think beyond this. Think about the message. Think about what's happening. Think about the players. Think about who's who. Think about what Trump is going to lose his legacy because of Israel. He's going to lose it. He's going to say later on, that was the dumbest thing I ever did. I can't believe it. The country said, we're not with this. Trump is just from old school, who's just kind of used to it. And when you go to Washington, see, Washington is in another world. They think that people know what they're... No. If you're getting paid off, they said that, and by the way, this is not meant as a slam. This is out of, believe it or not, out of respect and support. But AIPAC has an agent, so to speak, that is attributed or assigned to each congressperson. George says, on serious note, if NYC elected someone that made NYC fall into the ocean, could or would the state of New York or feds remove him? No. Remove him how? Remove him how? If he's not doing anything illegal, he's not going to subvert the franchise. And there are people who don't know. They just like him. There are people in Borum Hill and Park Slope, all these kind of uppity, not these kind of white lefty types who love him. There are people that I know in New York City who wouldn't, march for anything, and they march because they want to make fun of Orange Man or... So number one, let's summarize this. President Trump, if you care about your legacy, forget the world, forget peace, forget human being, forget that. I'm not even worried about that. Why? Because I think it should be pulled immediately. We should have never been involved in this in the first place. It's not our beef. I've been saying this forever. Same thing with the Ukraine. We've forgotten about Ukraine. You've got to do this immediately. Number two, you can't let the EU and Europe take over and be the winner. It's got to be you. Number three, you have all of a sudden changed your mind after saying, I'm going to annihilate and wipe out Tehran. You now say, come to think of it, this Libya thing didn't go very well. You know what? I'm going to give it 2 weeks. They're saying, no, ceasefire 2 weeks gives the other side chances to regroup. We're not going to let you set your battle groups and all this stuff. We're not going to give you a No. If you advised Iran, would you say, yeah, take this? Iran would say, they're not pausing this. They're not taking this over. They're regrouping. They're taking a breather. Number four, you got to ask yourself, what is the future? What is the legacy? What do Americans stand for? Number five, left and right doesn't mean anything anymore. 6, Tucker Carlson and others have showing for the umpteenth time the power of a new medium, a new strategy. And that's the internet. Why the president doesn't do something to systematically bring down cable news by doing what I've been saying for 10 years. And that's the president must go on TV, on Truth Social TV, set up something where he speaks when he wants. And they had the Caroline Leavitt. Have you noticed something also? Have you noticed how Caroline Leavitt doesn't seem to be as effective when she's just repeating things very cleverly, for very, very well for a 27-year-old. But there's no oomph behind the message. Have you heard this? Have you noticed this? She's saying things that, just because you're very forthright, if what you're saying isn't true, or if it does not in any way comport with what Americans feel, you can have this. You can have Stephen Miller up there. You can have anybody you want. What they say has to make sense. So I will bet you anything that common sense prevails, that Trump realizes I have been sold a bill of goods by the Israeli lobby or Bibi or the Hawks or whatever you want to call it, and I am through. What do you think Doge is saying? You want to talk about Doge? What about the money we're pissing away to whatever? Where is Doge? What happens to Palantir? There's a lot of side issues on there. Elon's not going away. Do you see where Elon's rocket blew up? When was the last time an Elon rocket blew up? Did you see this one? Did you think that? We don't blow up. Rockets don't blow up anymore. Think about it. They don't do that. Elon's rockets? Are you getting what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Now, my friend, let me remind you, let me thank the inimitable George Keene. George, you were on fire today. Thank you for your incredible kindness and your contribution. Spandex, thank you. Zeroba, thank you. Teresa Skinner, thank you. Bradley Opland, and Make the Dream Great Again. We have a lot to say. Prediction. Trump is out of here. Trump is going to pick up the phone and tell Jared Kushner, I don't know how you got me. I don't know I had no idea. Trump didn't even know that Putin's helicopter was targeted for assassination. Neither did Marco Rubio. And Marco Rubio is another prize. You can't have, I don't want to keep saying AIPAC because you missed the point. You can't have people who are in essence proxies for another country negotiate foreign policy on behalf of the United States. See, this thing never took off. Remember when everybody was saying that anybody who dared speak out against Israel, was a pro-Palestinian anti-Semite, and they got rid of all of these college, the presidents, and that was one of the dumbest things anybody's ever seen. It was ridiculous, but nobody cared, and most people don't care who the president of Penn is. But that started this. And then these folks say, we can do whatever we want. Then Elise Stefanik comes along, and then this one. You know who was going to rise? I would pick up the phone and I would say, Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is your chance, girl. This is your chance. Tucker, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Theo Vaughn, people that you never, it's like, what? Watch what happens. But don't mention Israel. Don't say Iran. No. It's about war. It's about getting America involved in war. We're better than this. Don't we? Stand with Vietnam veterans behind you. Vietnam veterans standing there with prosthetic limbs, or standing there in front of the Vietnam Memorial and say, everything you're hearing now, they said then. Juxtapose the two. They told you the same thing. We have to go to Vietnam because if we don't go to Vietnam, communism is going to spread. If we don't go to Vietnam, it's going to be a domino effect. Hit them hard. And pray that Alan Dershowitz represents the voice of this. I'm telling you. It's who nobody is, they're missing the PR part of this. This is the chance I would be. Give me 6 months. I will change world of politics like you cannot believe. But the problem is, a lot of people who are already there say, I can't change this. I can't. Because all my money is this. If you're Fox News, they're not going to change. Bring MTG. Think MTG should run for Senate? Maybe. Senators are not as big as you think. Senators are not, elected officials are not that big. In any event, my friend, July 19 at the Cutting Room in New York City. July 19, 7/19. Meet me there. Why is it special? Because it's not just me standing there doing, quote, jokes. No. That's starting too. That's done. We have 3x5 cards. We have you right. I take it's like a forum. It's a summit. I use your thoughts, your comments. We blend this thing. Nobody does this. Nobody. And some might say, because, wow, that's not. Nobody can do this. Do you think Louis C.K., Ted Cruz can't think on his feet? You think somebody can get up there for an hour and a half and just start riffing? Or somebody's throwing questions at you? No, because I know the subject intimately. This is not an act. I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm not pretending. I'm not going to Fox News this. Now, what do I say? What do I do this? How are my ratings? What do I say? No. So that's July the 19th. Tickets are available right here. There's that little link there that shows. Always go to the little section of how to join us. Follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warrior. She is on fire. On fire. She's got, you know how often she's going to Washington? Oh, she's not even letting on. She's not even coming closer. I'm not at liberty to tell you. But believe me, she is so connected. While a lot of these dingbats pretend to know what's going on, she is 24/7 involved in helping survivors and stopping human trafficking. Don't ever forget that. This isn't a joke with her. This isn't some, hey, no. Follow her at Lynn's Warriors. Follow our sister station at Lionel Legal. And make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. A lot of people don't like what I'm saying. Guess who they are? And that gives me all the fortification and all the indication that what I'm saying is right. Okay? You got that? All right, my dear friends. Thank you so much. Have a great, it's going to be a hot weekend, so they say. The weather yesterday was so strange. Our weather app said, all of a sudden, it was sunny. People are out by the pool. It's beautiful. And I got the app. I said, look. I said, lightning is 5 miles away. And we look at lightning. There's no lightning. And boom. The skies went black. Lightning. There was a kid hit in Central Park. You don't get people hit by lightning in this part of the world. Florida, yes, but not the topography. And then later on, you have other things which are important too. Then later on, it cleared up. And then it rained again. Black. Weird. You should see the Hudson River, it turns black. It's wild. If there is not weather manipulation or tampering, no. All right, dear friends. I love you. Have a great and a glorious and a beautiful day. Stay tuned. We'll talk to you later. More stuff coming up. Remember, subscribe. Make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation on YouTube. And until then, my friends, remember, the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.